webinar. So if you are coming here, if you are here for the first time and you are here for the second time, raise up your hand. Let's see. We have a lot of first timers here. We should share gift or something. First timers, you're welcome. Okay. Oh, great. Before I continue, by the way, I want to crave everybody's indulgence and let us know that we'll be recording this just to ensure that we are not violating any data privacy. Thank you very much as you give us permission to record. Awesome. Okay, so let's make it more fun then. Raise up your hand if you received an appreciation note from your employee yesterday, or you even got a gift. Your employees did not give you gifts. Me, I'm raising up my hand, Sha, because they gave me gifts. They sent me money. Okay. One last one then. Raise up your hand if you've slammed your laptop, not like slam, but you've closed your laptop in anger because an employee frustrated you before. Someone is taking a deep sigh. Someone said no gift, oh, congratulations, very man. Mouth. Sorry. Yeah, by the way, Page did something exciting. I think that they will be talking about that later. But they launched an exciting campaign yesterday called Wall of Love. And it just enabled employees, give their HR shout out. And it was so beautiful because I realized that even though a lot of people call us witches and wizards, they still appreciate the little things that we do. Oh, someone got a special gift. Hi, Florence. Please share your gift with us. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into it, right? Today we are talking about who takes care of HR, and maybe a good place to start is, do HRs even have support system? And anybody can answer this, right? Any of our amazing panelists can answer this. Do HRs have HR support system? And what does an ideal support system look like for HR professionals? Over to you, my amiable panelists. Gen Z YF wants to go
ladies first. No, ladies first. I'll go last. I'm the only guy here, so ladies
first.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm with you. Don't worry, we are together. Okay, so who wants to go first? Tino, Erefa.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be here. First of all, I'll say that HR needs to first acknowledge that they need support system, because most of the time, because of the demanding role that we play in our different organizations, we always feel, most of us think that we're superhuman because everybody looks at you like that. Everybody is coming to HR to say, I need this, I want help. But you need to first acknowledge that, okay, it's okay to not to be okay, and I also need a support system. So for me, in my work in HR, I found out that one of the things that I need is my system. What system do I have in place, from, of course, which ties into the organization itself? Is my work, I'm able to do my work easier or in a smarter way than having to go through a lot of troubles, getting things done. That's pure. So HR must have the technology as, a proper, in whatever support you look at it, you must have that. And of course, you have access to mental health resources. That is very critical. That is critical for CWG. We have, I work for CWG, and I know that one of the things that I stood for was that we have a retainership with a mental health, organization that you can access at any point in time, and someone calls up, oh, I need to talk to somebody. There's a line, there's a helpline you can call at any time. It's already been paid for. All you need is to take your sessions and then you move out of it. A few other things, but I think I'll let someone else go.
Right. Yes, I think that HR, especially, I'm very impressed, at least in Nigeria, has a lot of support system, the peer-to-peer mentorship. There are lots of HR WhatsApp group. The mentoring group, Mr. YF has one as well. There's, I'm sure you'll talk about that. There's HR Foundry, HR Madam. There are a lot of people that have their WhatsApp group, and I think that these are avenues where I've been on a group where someone has come to vent, where you can just, a safe place. We don't, you can vent and it doesn't get back to whether your management or your employee that you're venting off. So I think there are free, lots of free ones, and there are paid ones that you can get into. Is never enough anyway. A lot of people still don't have access. I remember one HR director was asking me recently that, is there a group for HRD. Like there is, so a lot of people are still not aware. So maybe we're not sharing, communicating that across. But I think that Nigeria commendably has done a lot more. You know, we're social beings anyway, so done a lot more than even when you compare it to the Western world. They don't do WhatsApp group. They just stick to their professional background and everything, their professional institute like the CSPD and things like that. But Nigeria, we've come out to create, and out of those groups, alliances have been formed, jobs have been created, relationships have been built. So I think that we're trying, but there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, I mean, you've spoken very well. I have one or two comments, but I would hear from YF first before I go ahead.
I think if I should just add a bit to it, I think from my perspective, I think the HR space is overloaded with support at the moment, honestly. At the last count, I personally belong to about 12, 14 WhatsApp groups where people are constantly talking about topical issues within the HR space. And sometimes we go outside of HR conversations to talk about leadership, to talk about mental health, to talk about women in the workplace, psychological safety, all of that, culture, employee experience. I think if you compare the space of HR now to HR of 15, 20 years ago, I think the HR professional of today is overindulged in terms of support system. When we started HR, there was nobody to call upon. Now the DM is full on LinkedIn. It's full everywhere. Just people trying to reach out to people. And sincerely, kudos to so many senior HR professionals who are making themselves available for the younger ones. So really, the support system is there. It may not be necessarily within the organization where you work, but the point is, if you look around you, there are so many people who are willing to support one another within the HR space. So I think, like I said, we are overindulged at the moment from a support perspective.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, thank you very much for your responses. I totally agree with what you said, YF. And sir, please come and add me to more groups. So I mean, only 3 or 4. I know that I'm in at least 1 or 3 groups with YF. I know I'm in 1 or 2 with Erifa also. And this is just to you if you're on the call, right? I know some specific groups were mentioned. You can easily join HR Foundry online, for instance. I know YF Talent Partners, you know, it's very easy to join and very accessible. Maybe I will let YF talk about that at some point. And then there are just a lot of exciting communities, Expertita Academy. Yes, so I wanted to point that out. Tino, you made a very important point, especially when you touched on technology and just how technology also helps take off some stress that might lead to mental health. And I would probably come back to that. But yeah, it's one of the reasons why PAID was found. And it's also one of the solutions that, PAID is trying to solve. How can we optimize technology to take off some stress from HRs and also provide the best experiences, for employees? Moving on. Hi, Hannah. I know that you have been waiting for me. I've been waiting to hear from you too. So my first question to you is, I mean, just picking up from the last thing that YF said, sometimes, support looks like they are banned, but you do not see them or you do not even feel like you could communicate to them. A practical example, YF is just a WhatsApp away from me, right? But sometimes I don't even send him a message because I'm thinking there are 123 other people, sending him a message. So how can HR professionals, leave their shell to communicate their needs and to maybe ask for support from colleagues, for senior mentors and all? Please share with us.
A number of things come into play when it comes to like leaving your shell. For example, being a HR professional, it doesn't mean that you're the most extroverted person. And sometimes at the end of the day, after talking to your boss, with your team members and so on, you're talked out, you're exhausted, and you kind of don't want to say a single word to anybody after that. So the idea may not necessarily to leave your shell. It might be one, to get to know yourself and know the type of support that works for you as an individual. I'm not sure that I'm the one that would like jump into like a WhatsApp group to like vent to everybody, but I can have one-on-one conversations with one person to connect with them. So I think like knowing yourself and knowing the type of person you are, forcing yourself to conform with the extroverted ones, with the most outspoken ones may be even more stressful for you because you're masking, and that is even taking more pressure from you, and it's not really like allowing you be grounded enough to communicate what you need. So I would say know yourself first and ask like what works for you, what is within my control, and what does support actually look like for me. It might not be venting, it might not be a WhatsApp group, but it might be something else. I think that would be a way to go there.
Yeah, I mean, you're very right. Thank you very much. And I love the fact that you touched on what does support look like. Sometimes it's talking to someone, you don't even want advice. You just want to say, Oga YF for Alpha, the talent where I spent 2 months try poach, just resigned last week after 6 weeks. So I'm back to square one. I mean, I don't even need him to advise me on what to do next. I just really want to tell him that I spent 2 months chasing the talent and the talent has disappeared. Right. And then sometimes you really need guardians or you just need like an orb of resources. I just need someone to say, watch this YouTube on how to do competence
Yeah.
framework. So I really loved that you touched on that, and I hope that our participants are taking notes. Thank you very much for that contribution. So my next question is, and I think that both YF and Erifa talked on it when they were just talking about the support available in Nigeria. But how can HR professionals furthermore cultivate the culture of mutual collaborations? So, I mean, I've been in tech last 4 or 5 years, and at some point, I think it was last year, I had to speak to a couple HRs in tech to say, hey, I think the way that HR is done in tech companies is totally different from traditional companies. And I think that we need a community, to speak to the popularity of our industry. But before last year, I'm not even sure that we had a lot of that, something that caters to tech, right? So, my HR professionals, sir, how can we further more deliberately develop the culture of mutual collaboration and alignment in the industry? See, someone is agreeing with me in the comment section. Thank you, Rose.
You want me to go?
Yeah, yes, please go for it. I see you're excited.
No, it's very interesting because at the last HR Expo event, side talk. So I was privy to some side talk, and they said that the traditional HR professionals in Nigeria are almost cop-like. So they keep to themselves.
Yes, now you are moments.
I'm not almost
joking.
cop-like in terms of
Please go ahead.
so they sort of keep to themselves. So you find YF is not a personal friend, but when I see him, we talk like well, because each time I reach out to him from our first event, we didn't know him. I think it was a LinkedIn message my colleague Tayo sent to him, and he responded and he said he will come. It was just like that. And then from there, we became friends. I would joke because at that point, it was one of the few people that was always writing on LinkedIn. And that's when I started calling him HR influencer from back then, because it was always on LinkedIn. I was like, why, when I see your post, 1 million like, we just joke like that. So few people like that are willing to collaborate. Few people, and then just as HR, because we are caretakers, so we take that that and we just we're like the mother. Was it the
mother hen?
Or whatever, just keep to it. So when we form an alliance, we're almost like, oh, this is us, and nobody's going to join. Unlike you look at the tech industry, because they're very agile, they're very versatile, so they don't have all those hang-ups where senior madams have, and senior
like barrier of entry.
Yes. So as YF was saying, that's 3 years ago, he didn't have all this access, but he's able to it's translated. He's with the Gen Zs, he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm not going to use him again, so it doesn't like I'm fanning him, but so I'm just saying that HR people are able to just chill. I think just chill, that's a word. Just chill. Let's leave this. I'm the big boss. I have 50 years. I'm a chartered fellow. I'm this and that. Because there's something called reverse mentoring, and there's a lot we can learn from the young people. Even my kids, they say some slang like, so when I say, can I say this? So no, mommy, you can't say that. That's so, ooh. It's the same thing where if you want to deal with Gen Z and you're not associating with Gen Z, how are you going to manage them? You can't. The things that they want is completely different from. So we are looking at each time you go and talk to your boss and say, "Oh, we want to increase salaries." Do they really want? Yes. You think because they're living in Nigeria, they will ghost you even if they don't have a job. They don't really care because what they want is completely different from what I want. what even the millennials, Nigerian even the world managed to crush the millennials, but you can't crush the Gen Zs. So if you don't communicate with them, if you don't collaborate with them, how would you, if you're still in your IOS as, 50 years HR professional, this, that, and that. So I completely agree with you. It's just us, learning and relearning. I think that's the word we should use, just relearning, understanding, and collaborating, having a flexible approach to how we do things, and just being available. Obviously, you can be available without being too available. Somebody sends you a DM, somebody sends you, be cordial, respond to them, tell them, oh, I can't do this. Your no is your no, but just not just be there stuck, because you never know when you're going to need. They say, remember when you're climbing up, remember when you're way down. So
no, I mean that was very helpful. Thank you very much for that very pivotal insights. YF, Tino, do you want to add anything?
All right, so let me share with you guys what I teach in the space of leadership, right?
Okay, yeah, please.
It looks as if beyond the workforce, let's try and come home to the HR space now. It looks as if it's a multi-generational discipline at the moment. At the one end, we have the ancestors and the silent generation. And then at the other end, we have Gen Zs and even the Alpha generation, the millennials coming in, right? I say that no generation is the best, or no generation is better than the other. Every generation, and I'm speaking HR now, every generation is just different. We all bring something to the table. Faith, I'll tell you that I consult in that your tech space that you talked about just now. I consult for about 3 different organizations at the moment. I provide strategic HR advisory to them, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 different clients. And I promise you that you guys need the wisdom of the old,
the guardians,
the knowledge of the old, the
depth,
being fully embedded in the HR discipline that the older generation came with. You need to marry that with the agility of tech determining many things at the moment. I see a lot of shadow within the younger generation, and I think we all need to come together and constantly exchange knowledge and exchange ideas so that you guys can help the older generation, who must come to the party as well, to be more agile, to be more adaptable to the things going on. And you guys also need to take the things that they have solidly stood on over a period of time to be successful in the HR space. We need to marry both. So if you're talking about collaboration, that's what it is for me. So let's not have the HR Directors Network continuing to do its own thing. Let's not have the HR tech young people continuing to do their own thing. Let's have somebody bring everybody together at some point so that at the end of the day, guess what we will get out of that process? Synergy. So the HR profession will be the better for it, and also the individual professionals also within the HR space. And it's the reason I don't have an HR platform. I remember that you made an allusion to that. I'll tell you why I did it. About 7, 8 years ago, I mean, everybody was inviting me to all of these platforms. And in my head, I was like, why can't we have just one platform bringing all HR folks together? And before I knew it, another HR platform, another one. So I decided I wasn't going to have any. Rather, I'll speak to all professions rather than just one profession. So the YF Academy and the YF Network caters for all professions rather than HR. But what I think we should do is find ways to bring everybody together. We need the agility of the younger ones, and also we need the wisdom of the older generation. If we bring all of that together and we form one group, one solid party of HR professionals in Nigeria, I promise you we will dictate the way HR is practiced, not only in Nigeria, but in Africa and possibly beyond. That's my take.
Thank you very much. I mean, like you both have said a lot. I love Erefa's talk just around barriers of entry, lowering down boundaries, lower down barriers of entry and just the mix. And I loved how YF just built on that and just talked about, I really love the balance of wisdom of the old and agility of the new. That's a lot of sagacity. I know that program will not like that, but that's a lot of sagacity there. Let me know if you're following. If you're following, just type. I see that people are already sharing tips in the go, but just type I'm following, type anything that's stood out for you so far so that I will know that you are with us. Tino, this question is for you, right? Especially because so just because of the space that you play in terms of consulting, people management and experience. Two words that HR professionals throw around are resilience, and adaptability, right? So how do you think, first, what's your opinion about these buzzwords? And how do you just think that HR professionals, about what requires us to be, resilient and, adaptable? So how do you think that we can continue to demonstrate these traits? Just before you answer, I know I will come to you on the flip side of that question. So I just want to give you an heads up. Yeah, Tino, please go ahead.
Okay, so I think one event that taught the whole world resilience and adaptability will be the COVID era.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that, yes, absolutely. I'm sure before then, a lot of us would never have thought that word, those two words were very powerful, not until COVID happened and everything about the world of work changed. So especially for those in IT, I remember that for my organization, we were home for about 3 years, even after the COVID. Yes, we did 3 good years at home. And I can tell you that for those years, they were like the best years for us in terms of service delivery. We had performed when we were in the office. So for me, I see people wanting to go beyond their average, their normal limits, because now they have flexibility at their beck and call, and then they can work from home. So for the IT space, those two words are very critical. And then again, adaptability is something that has a lot to do with IT, because at every interval, minimum 3-6 months, something has to change. So you keep having to adapt to a new system, to a new process. So those two words are very big. And I said, COVID taught us everything about that. So I think not just in the IT space, for every organization that is forward thinking, that is going somewhere, you cannot afford to play with those two words, within the business space area.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for that. And I love that you made reference to COVID era. That's one era that's why I also make reference a lot, especially when it's discussing remote work and just adaptability. Yeah, so Hano, the flip side of this question to you is, so HRs are not supposed to feel pain. They're not supposed to feel hurt. I remember that I think it was when I was at CarrierWise. So, there was so I implemented a project like an impact award and stuff. So I realized that nobody had nominated me for an impact award. Like HR is supposed to, just be there. And like I keep saying, it comes with a cash benefit, right? So one time, like, wait, though, why is it that nobody has ever nominated me for an impact award? And the management said, oh, you are like the caretaker, you are not supposed to be asking for things like this. And then I go, so I'm not supposed to be appreciated, right? I'm just supposed to be the tough guy that absorbs everything. So the flip side to you, I know, especially because you consult, for my mental health, and the discussion is around who takes care of HR. When is it too much for HR professionals? And how can we call for him to say, hey, I'm not the hard guy anymore. I also need to be taken care of. And maybe how can we do that to our stakeholders?
When is it too much for HR professionals? The moment you start feeling okay, so a lot of people, professionals within the helping role, HR professionals, psychologists, nurses, they experience compassion fatigue. And compassion fatigue is something that is experienced internally. It's not something that is measured externally. Compassion fatigue, for those that don't know, is the extreme distress or emotional pain that comes as a result of helping others. So, for example, a HR person at work, someone is coming. I had traffic today. That's why I got in 2 hours late. Okay, are you good? I'm experiencing burnout. Okay, are you okay? My mother is in the hospital. Are you okay? I'm tired. Are you okay? And you're the one constantly asking, are you okay? But very few people stop to ask the HR person, hey, you've been listening to me all day. Are you okay? Right? So I think that one, get to know yourself well. I always recommend getting to know yourself well because like you're the one that knows where it hurts. You're the one that knows what equilibrium feels for you, what a grounded state looks like for you. Like physically, let's start with that. Like in your body, when you're having a rested day, what does that feel like physically? You notice that your heart is like beating, regularly, your body is not clenched. You're able to have a conversation and you're not like distracted or disconnected from the moment. Then your mind is not racing. It doesn't feel like you're in emergency mode and you're able to like solve problems quickly. But when you're not grounded, you notice that like you're very disconnected from your body. It feels like everything is on fire. It feels like you're constantly putting fire out. You're distracted, you're overwhelmed, and like you have a short fuse for things. You don't have to get to that point of too much to start advocating for yourself. So I think let's even answer that question. When is too much? Before it gets too much, start the advocacy. Like start asking, like, hey, we need to set up structures that acknowledges the effort of people within the department. We need to start like a metric, like after the week, check in with yourself, right? Set up structures that allow the HR person to clock out and actually have their weekend, right? It's not like, oh, I'm the only person, and if I don't do this, the organization will collapse. If the organization will collapse, that is a problem to solve. It's not like a bragging right or anything. The organization should not collapse when you are away. You should be allowed to rest when you're away. So I think like I'm glad that you actually asked that question because because like a lot of people don't directly connect the HR effort to the bottom line like they will do with sales and so on. It's like you're hiring people. Anybody can do it. Like, it's a startup. You have to wear many hats, and there's
Come
that
and do it.
it's like damn if it easy, there's that tendency to minimize your efforts.
we
But
do.
before it gets to that point, that advocacy should be there. Like, I don't want to burn out here because I don't want my team to burn out, and I'm a part of this team. So when is it too much? Before it gets too much, that is where you should start like solving that problem.
Faith,
Yeah,
can I
thank
say
you.
2 things in addition to what she had said, please?
Okay, yeah.
Because I think for me, this is the crux of the conversation when I look at the topic, who takes care of HR? I think the first thing I want to say is that HR must always remember that he or she is also an employee. At the end of the day, HR is also an employee, right? So if you're taking care of other people, just make sure that you're factoring in your own care into that process. So when you're saying the workforce, my employees, include yourself. Whatever you're doing for them, make sure that 4 fingers are pointing at yourself. So if you're saying like, Anu said, how are you? Make sure that you're also asking yourself how you are. If you are doing employee assistance programs, right? Don't wait for anybody to rate you to say you're doing well or you're not doing well. Do employee assistance program for yourself. And then Anu says that don't wait until it's even too much. Don't wait until you burn out. And can I say that HR folks, traditionally, and I hope that narrative is changing, we took on too much. I see that I see people wear the t-shirt that says HR is the therapist, the pastor, the mom.
Psychologist, event planner.
We are not. Let's not kid ourselves. People expect us to be that to them, but we're not that. You know what we're doing? We have been, for a very long time, they have outsourced the responsibilities of people management by line managers to HR. Because we love the power and the fame, so to say, within the organization that comes with it, we say, yeah, we are hiring, we are firing,
and
we are
they pay us.
We are not the ones doing all of that. At the end of the day, it should be a line manager. So before it gets too much, you know what we should do? Redirect traffic. When they say, give me my performance appraisal feedback, let them know that's not your job. That's your line manager's job. When they say to you, oh, I want to recruit, ask them also to give you CVs. Because if you are in sales or supply chain, you should know other sales and supply chain people within the ecosystem that should come and work with you. So if you look at the employee life cycle, from point of entry to point of exit, the primary owner of people management responsibility is the line manager. What HR should do is to help line managers show up their people management responsibilities rather than taking those responsibilities from them. It's the reason we burn out too quickly. And guess what? For those people I asked yesterday who joined HR because they love working with people, they have found out quickly that that love does not exist. Take care of yourself first.
Right.
It-
Can I
Can I
just
say
say that? Can I?
Yeah, I was actually going to invite Tino and Eric.
I was going to
I
say,
see that
so
you guys are
I'm going to
excited.
say that HR,
Yes,
if I'm going to liken HR to men, men are not supposed to cry. Men are not supposed to seek therapy. Oh, why is that guy crying? Such a weak guy. Why is that? Oh God, I don't like men that cry. I don't like this that do this. That's how so even women that say that, that's how they look at you in the office. You're like the man that is not supposed to cry. You're a man that is not supposed to ask for anything. You're not supposed to take day off. You're not supposed to put in a budget for your own training. I will take this to HRS, but when we send, oh, there's no budget. But the same HR person is approved budget for someone to go to LBS, to go to Ghana, to go to different
To
places.
take $1,000 cost,
but
$1,000
almost
cost.
the HR budget is almost the slimmest within the organization. And I also, there's a story I saw on Instagram. It was about men's mental health. So this guy, they were each time at the football game, this guy is constantly asking this guy, are you okay? Because the other one looks sad. He's always looking sad, gloomy. So he's asking him, are you okay? Are you okay? Every time. And that one just so he's smiling, he's jumping up, he's dancing, he's doing everything. But guess who committed suicide? The guy who was constantly asking the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw the video. Yes.
So
yes,
that just shows you and when it's why he's talking about burnout, I know he's talking about burnout, that just shows you that's where HR is, because you are the man that is not supposed to cry. You're not the man that is not supposed to ask for anything. You are the strong. Stop being strong. I saw a post, somebody wrote on LinkedIn today and said, I don't want to be the strong person. I don't want you to call me strong. I want to be vulnerable. I want to hug. I want someone to ask me, are you okay? Are you that? And that's where you as HR people, somebody says, I'm feeling down. You said, did you even ask me how I'm feeling myself? Throw the question back at them. Okay, we are both feeling down. How can we get through this? I think
let's go out and get
let's
drinks.
both have a coffee. Let's both talk about our feelings. So
Yeah.
they know that they should not, let's talk about feelings. Let's make talking about feelings in the organization, as HR people, don't feel, as YF said, we like the power, we like the drive, we want to be the big boss. But at the same time, then when you get back home to yourself, then you start, cranking to your family, to your friends, because you're pouring out all this
Stress and
aggression on them, so stop being the man. HR should stop being the man. Learn to be vulnerable. Learn to show your weaknesses. Learn to show doesn't matter, men can cry. HR can cry. I'm not saying go and start crying in the office tomorrow, please.
But yeah.
Cry. Don't go and cry to your MD when your MD says, oh, they say we can cry. I want to show you my vulnerability. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, just
we should be real.
stand your own, your strength and where it stops.
Great. Yeah, Tino wanted to add something. Please go
So
ahead.
like I said earlier, that it's okay not to be okay. And then the first step to this is HR acknowledging that I also need the care, the concern that I give to everybody. You find that in the house, most times the mother is always doing everything for everyone, and you hardly find it difficult. You find it normal when you request or you ask for that help. Like Erefa said, that is very important. I remember a few years ago, we had some reorganization, like optimization, and people had to go. And then it wasn't the normal, our organization, it wasn't the usual give you a letter or you can't sign in. So you have to have a conversation with each of the people, and try to tell them, okay, you don't have a job, but tell them in a very good or a better way. And then I was on it, and each time I tried to talk to everyone, oh, I'm sorry, you have to go, blah, blah, blah. And I see myself, almost in tears, at a point, I couldn't go. I was, because someone is saying, oh, I have a family, I have a young family, oh, my wife is pregnant. How do I console the young man that I'm sorry, by the 30th of next month, you don't have a salary? Of course, you don't have. So at a point, I realized that I was also crying with the person.
Alongside them, again.
So at a point, I had to say, okay, I'm stopping now. I'm going to stop. Then I called my MD. I said, I can't do this anymore. This is so tough for me. And say, okay, relax. So I had to share, like why I said, to say, okay, each line manager, go manage your people, go talk to your team. It doesn't have to come from HR. Like Erifa said, it doesn't have to come from you. Then I felt I felt better when I had to let go of some of those difficult tasks. So I think, like why I said, we don't have to be the superhuman. Let's refuse to be it. Let's just be like a regular human being so that we can have a life that we can call our own. Thank you.
This has been a very, very rich conversation, and a lot of nuggets and gems have dropped from, don't wait to experience burnout before you raise your hand, So don't be the big boss. Don't be the person that wants to do everything. I personally, when I join organizations, even when I'm interviewing for roles, I let my interviewers or the organization I'm joining know that the team leads are a big stakeholders for me, right? I do not want everything to start and stop at my desk. No. In fact, I don't come to me. Go and meet your team lead. You want a raise it with your team lead. Let your team lead come and state the case. So yes, that part is very important. And I really just I super love the comparison that Erifa made. And people are loving your comparison, maybe because it was International Boys Day very recently. But yes, in one of my roles, like so I like to, I had my own office, but I like to work amongst people. So when I close my laptop, people just like, something is wrong. What's up? Who annoyed you? Is it an email for LIRS? Did the candidate bail on us? That kind of thing. And it just me being transparent and them knowing that me slamming, so I use a Mac, me just slamming my Mac means that I'm stressed. Already let people know that, okay, so, our HR is not robots or is not iron. He also feels this real-time emotion. And I'm just excited that, we are talking about that. Before the penultimate rounds of questions, I'm super delighted that we are all following the chat box. If you want to make a comment, please click on send to everyone. I've seen a lot of exciting comments, but they have been sent to host and panelists. So you have in the chat box, click to everyone so that people can connect with your comment and your feedback and your reactions. Also, just a gentle reminder that, our wonderful host today is paid and HR Expo Africa. So please feel free to follow both platforms. Of course, I think that they are across social media. So I think my penultimate question is really one of also the reasons that we are here. Thank God for 21st century. Thank God for how technologies and processes are, shaking hands, right? So this question is for my HR professionals. How can we explore technology to take up a lot of things that stresses us and reduce, just to enable us optimize our mental health? Anybody can go first. How can we leverage technology, to ensure that we do our best work and to ensure that we are not overwhelmed with the pressure that comes with doing our work, and we are also able to explore mental health, wellness, and opportunities. Anybody?
Okay, I'll say HR tools. There are a lot of HR cloud technology out there that you can leverage. Obviously, HR has gone from thanks to technology from paper pushing. There are things that you can also automation. HR people need to understand automation. You can automate even, let's say, even if your organization doesn't have things like paid, for example, you can zap. I'm a lover of Zapier. I zap everything. I automate everything. I zap. So and these things are just knowledge that you can pick up from YouTube, from watching videos. They're not rocket science. It's not because I'm not tech, or because a lot of HR people go, I don't like tech. I'm not tech. I'm not into tech or something like that. So if my organization doesn't have this technology, I'm not able to do it. You can learn to automate everything that you do in HR. But thankfully, there are products like Paid, which brought us here today, and you can leverage on their technology. You can book time off from your, from your mobile. If you feel that you are stressed for that day, you can go on your Paid app for your organization. So tell your organization to use Paid. I'm not going to talk about any other product here today. Okay, to use Paid. They have an exciting technology that you can use, whether it's for your mental health, to reach out to. I think they have a list of mental health organizations that you can subscribe that you can reach out to, just to have a chat with somebody. Somebody said earlier that it's about privacy. Just, some people can't talk in a group, so the WhatsApp group is not enough for them. So maybe they might just need to have a one-on-one with somebody. You can reach out through your Paid app. You can do all your technology, your recruitment, paying your staff. Everything is done via paid. Have I done very well? Paid?
Thank you very much. Yes, yeah. They are
I'm my
happy.
paid ambassador.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
carry
know,
on.
you want to say something, yeah.
For me, I think the employee self-service will be the goal. You know, it takes a whole lot out of off the HR desk, because if your employee in the ESS can, upload and do a lot of things by themselves, I think 60 to 70% of your headache is actually out. So I think I agree with Erifa. Technology is the thing, is the real deal.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, why?
Permit me to or forgive me for my unconventional thinking.
Yeah, well, I know that you will take us on another part. I was looking forward to that part.
For me, it's two things. It's mentoring and then it's reverse mentoring. And I'll tell you why. People are getting burnt out right now because of the same reasons that Erefa and Tino have both mentioned, and that's technology. So the older generation, right, they're struggling with technology and they are doing many things still, same old, right? You know what I mean? And therefore, they are spending more hours to do the same things that technology will allow them to do faster. And guess why the younger generations, why they are getting burnt out? The same technology. They are spending a whole lot of time on that same technology, research and all that, and they are flipping from one side to another. So what is the solution? Mentoring and reverse mentoring. Again, let's all come together. And I think it's humility on both sides, if you ask me. Humility on the side of the older generation to know that, hey, what made you a leader or what made you a senior professional over a period of maybe 15, 20, 25 years, right? It's not going to be the same thing in today's world. Technology has collapsed all of that. So be humble enough to know that you don't know everything. The younger generation, they can help you navigate through technology faster than you can do it. And then for the younger generation as well, also realize that the fundamentals must still always be embedded. The fact that, guys, I see many young HR professionals embrace technology, but the depth is lacking. I'm not going to lie to you. I just said to you that I do some work with some organizations, and these organizations have heads of people and culture. They have HR manager. They even have chief people and culture officer. But the kind of things that they still ask us to do as external consultants is totally amazing. That's when you know that the fundamentals have not been fully embedded. So we need to marry both. Let's not rely too much only on technology. Technology is great. Believe me, it's an enabler. It will let us do things faster, more efficient, and all that. But again, we also should not forget the place of experience, hands-on experience. And the guys who may have gone ahead of us will be there to guide us and support us. And try and imagine, we are hands-on experience with really doing the stuff, rolling up your sleeves, marrying that with technology. What do you get? You get unbelievable results. So I think for me, it's mentoring and also reverse mentoring.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love how you bring balanced perspective to things. Thank you.
Can I quickly say something? Can I add something?
By all
Okay,
means,
so
by all means.
coming from YX perspective, I remember I told you we worked at home for about 3 years, and everything seems fine. But after some time, we realized that a lot of the Gen Zs, the new people coming to join the workforce, are basically blank. I'll use the word blank, because there are no direct day-to-day interaction with the senior engineers. In fact, that's one of the reasons why we had to come back to the office. If it was just for the fact that can we deliver on service? Oh, yes, absolutely, we can. But afterwards, in another 2-3 years, what would happen? What would become of us? That was the issue. So I agree that no matter how good your technology is, you still need those day-to-day hands, direct interaction, showing the younger generation how things are done. Even in HR, in my team, I realized that something I need to probably teach or show as little as, how are you supposed to draft a letter? Yes, everybody will do the usual thing that everybody does now. but sometimes you see it doesn't really. Why if you're smiling? That's true. So sometimes,
Just say it.
as you
ChatGPT.
said,
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
it's not even ChatGPT.
I am not there. Oh. I don't know about that one. No.
Someone
Yeah.
has given us a good summary in the chat room.
Okay.
Olowo, he or she says technology will always enhance substance. I promise you, Faith, what we see a lot these days is technology, not hinged on solid substance. And when it comes to the crunch, believe me, in Yoruba parlance, Ashiri Matu, I mean, the real stuff will come out. And we will all know that it's
Exactly.
all fluff and no
Mhm.
substance.
And no
So
substance.
I am a total believer. Yes, Abisola, ChatGPT warriors is the first thing. Is the
But
first
wait,
thing everybody
Femi,
uses them.
everybody, hear me? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with using
No, there's
ChatGPT.
something
So,
wrong.
and
I'm
I
saying we
always
need
say
to
that.
marry both.
As a guy,
Absolutely, and which is
When
what I say
we
to
finish
people. When
this
you
fight
use
for
ChatGPT, you
Yes.
can't
Let's call
say
for
you can't
Graham.
give ChatGPT a topic and tell it to write for you. You have to
Correct.
write something and tell ChatGPT to enhance that writing for you.
No,
But that's
you-
not refined.
almost-
But that's
actually
not
not.
refined.
Actually not.
No, listen,
Actually not.
Exactly.
No,
I
you
have-
can. What I'm saying is that a lot of people just gives a topic and then
Exactly.
ChatGPT brings everything out. And
Exactly.
almost, I can hear me. You can tell when it's a ChatGPT written.
Oh,
Correct.
absolutely.
But
Yes.
say you write something and you just want to, just jazz it up a bit. You can say regenerate this, but you've already written your content. So even when because it's computer and it's learning, it's machine learning, it's learning
Mhm.
from you. So you
Yeah.
understand your thought of your point of view and write within that. But if you tell it to, it will just write machine. If you see it,
That's-
I always see that it's a machine. that
That's
wrote it.
exactly the point. You need to
So
have first.
I'm just agreeing with you. I'm
Right.
agreeing with your thoughts
Right.
that
We first
so
have to have a point
yes,
of
it's good to be a
view.
ChatGPT
Technical
warrior,
depth.
but have substance.
Okay. So
Correct.
Some
I
substance.
will just marry what everyone has said. And thank you so much. And guys, our participants, I hope you are enjoying this conversation. For me, it's a great privilege to actually learn how you think about us. Like, I think that it's a great delight, and I'm really excited that YF, Tino, Erefa, you guys are probably my daddies and mummies in the industry. Like, I'm just super excited to see how you think, about processes, about the perception of the upcoming generation. Because see, we do not want to fail. We want to build on the structure of excellence. And it's actually good that we are pointing this out. I'm very sure that there are a lot of young professionals here who are noting one thing or two, who are, realizing the importance of
Can you tell
knowledge.
the last person to put his chat to everyone instead of to Joshua wrote something which is very interesting.
Oh, okay.
You should write to everyone as opposed to host and panelists.
Let me see if I can read.
AI
Joshua.
is about prompts.
Okay, yeah. So I will just read it out. You say AI is about prompts. Without accurate points, it always feels mechanical. People need to learn how to prompt. To be honest, I think that the most exciting feedback is the one from Tosin and the one from Olatokpe that says that I want to read Olatokpe's one. It's the people that drives technology. That means that even if you do not have substance, you can use technology and you will not get your desired, results and objectives. So let's learn how to first dig deep, absorb the knowledge that is required, train yourself the processes. For example, I can use Paid to run my payroll. But if I do not even know the basic knowledge of payroll, if I do not know where is 21%, where is 7%, where is 7%, if I do not know the pensions, which one is 8%?
You don't even know pension at all.
Which one is 8%? Which one is 10%?
10%.
Page can just run me anything. And you know what? Guess what? LIS is going to slam my company with their long letters. And if there's something LIS know how to do, is to write long letters, right? And then you're wondering, we use Paid. Paid is exciting. Paid is impeccable. But guess what? The person that was using Paid doesn't even have the major basic payroll knowledge. So you cannot even use that technology to provide the right solution. So I think my feedback, I just aggregate everybody's feedback is to let's learn. Let's actually sit down and learn. Let's read. Let's watch YouTube videos. Let's take courses. Let's take professional certifications. When there is a Twitter space, there is a Zoom space, you are in a WhatsApp community and top leaders are coming to share knowledge. Let's actually take out time to learn. I think it's very important. I mean, it's super exciting how this conversation have gone. So I'm going to try to bring us back and I'm coming to you, Arno. I mean, we've done a lot of HR knowledge sharing and anything. So this next question is very interesting for you, actually, given like the specialization of your field. So think about it. You are talking to, over 150 HR professionals. What word do you have for us? How can we promote mental health awareness in our organizations for us, and of course for our talents? How can we be ambassadors of wellness, of well-being, in our organizations?
I think one thing on policy level, rather than just like individual level, it
Right.
is easy to, I wouldn't say it is easy, but a lot of times when we think about mental health interventions, we go straight to go to therapy and then solve it. But when the policy, when the work culture and so on is, I don't use the word toxic, but when it is disturbed, it will still come back to affect the individual, right? If the policies don't accommodate human error, human needs, family, work life balance, and so on, it would be very difficult for them to implement the help that they are getting from their therapist. So advocacy starts from a systemic level, right? Like how is the work culture, the work environment supporting the individual? What cultures have been set up in place, like the way of life, the way of living in the organization, how is it like affecting the individual? It's easy for an individual to come into a healthy work culture and stay healthy than it is for a healthy person to come into like a toxic culture and stay healthy. Toxic in the sense like cultures and policies that don't support individual well-being. So when you start solving for mental health at a systemic level, at a policy level, and start advocating for mental health at a policy level, at that level, then it will trickle down. Then therapy can come into place, increased salary and so on will come into place because it can create that sense of helplessness for the individual when they're experiencing like they're going to therapy, they're doing the exercise, they're practicing self-care, they're doing all of these things on their own, but at the workplace level, there's still some problematic things like happening there. Right. And for the HR people themselves, I would say know the difference between rescuing people and supporting people. I think a lot of people come into the HR space as rescuers. I need help. Let me do it for you. I need to do this. Let me do it for you. And then like that leads to burnout. Support actually like allows the person to be autonomous, to take control, to empower themselves. And then by the end, you can now like take it up from there. So you're not like draining from your very limited resources. You're allowing them to like flex their muscles, to learn, to actually make mistakes, and then you're now coming into play. And when you do that, it'll be harder for you to get burnt out because you're just supporting. But if you're just used to like playing the role of the rescuer, it is very easy to get to the end of your rope because you're doing everything for everybody and very few people are doing stuff for you. So those are like two things I would say. Like think about mental health at a policy level and then tell the difference between rescuing and supporting. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, those were very helpful. I loved your point on think about the difference between rescuing and supporting because, as someone said, HRs have maternal instincts. I don't know about that one, but yeah, actually, yes, you're right. HRs have maternal instincts. So yeah, thanks for differentiating that, guys. It's been a super exciting conversation, and don't worry, we're not about to close yet. So I think that the first thing I want to talk about is that you can, so this is where you guys ask questions. I think we can take 2 or 3 questions. So if you have questions,
Before that, Faith, before your questions, please, can I tell Anu that we have moved away. Prior to the pandemic, we were in the space of put the H back into HR, the human back into human resources. But post-pandemic, in this new abnormal, what we are saying that we should put the H back into human beings. It's not just HR. You see, that H back to HR is again loading us with more pressure in HR. Let's put H in human beings. The workplace is not just about HR. The workplace is about everybody. And again, back to line managers, let the line managers put the human back into their own human beings. So when we say, let's be empathetic, HR, yes, but line manager as well. When we say, let's have a workplace that's psychologically safe, where I am speaking from now, this is my office. I'm on the 6th floor of a 10th floor building. In how many places am I going to be at the same time to make the company psychologically safe? Meanwhile, we've got line managers all over the place. So let's not just leave H in HR. Let's leave H in human beings so that we can reduce pressure on HR. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So please leave the H in human beings and not H in HR. That's very, very notable. Thank you very much. So I will be checking. Yeah, I think that, please, can we like shout out to our panelists in the comment section? I think that this has been a very, very rich conversation. Before I invite our representative from PAID, I just want to ask if any of our panelists want to talk about anything about what they do, or either is HREA, either is our clinical psychologists, YF. Do you want to say anything or share anything?
HRS for Africa.
Yeah, yes, please go ahead.
HRS for Africa.
HRS
Let me sound like a Gen Z.
Yeah.
The plug to learning about the HR trends. About HR trends.
I read your website, by the way. I read your blog. I love your content. Just put it in
So thank you so much. So Faith is endorsing us. YF has no choice but to endorse us. Tino, are you endorsing us?
Oh, absolutely. I am.
Wait. I know. Are you going to endorse? You've never been, but endorse us. We'll bring you.
I'll check it out.
No. Just say yes.
Okay, yeah.
So there you go. Everyone has endorsed us on the panel. We look forward to hosting everyone on here. We have 157 people next year, April. The date is the 9th and 10th of April, 2025. And we're back to our old reliable, the Landmarks Center, Lagos. So we look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Anu, do you want to talk about, I really love what you do. Like I said, I'm already loving your landing page and I will be booking a session. Do you want to say one or two things about us therapy?
Okay, hi everyone. I am a clinical psychologist and the founder of Us Therapy. Interestingly, when I started creating content on Us Therapy, one of my focus was mental health at work. And the driving message there was you don't need to pay for success with your mental health. And it was looking at topics that were quite overlooked when it comes to like mental health at work conversations, like systemic problems that people experience and that shows up at work. For example, how does chronic illness impact the way you present in interviews? How does like neurodivergence show up at work? And then personalities like extrovert bias and so on, and how it impacts individuals. I'm an introvert and I feel I know you don't speak. I know you're too shy. And it's like, I'm not shy. I would not talk if I'm not interested in talking. And I don't want to just talk to make a statement. If I have something to say, I will say. But like Nigeria is a very extroverted space. And there's like this extrovert bias as like, oh, because you're like very like loud and everything, it means that you're like a culture fit and so on. So there's that awareness like, hey, you're actually not the problem. This is what is happening at a systemic level, and this is how it's impacting you as an individual. So if you want to learn stuff like that and all that things about mental health generally, mental health at work, in your relationships and so on, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. It's Us Therapy, US Therapy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before Tino and YF, first there will be a poll coming up now from PAID. Please kindly take the poll and share your feedback. Secondly, there are 2 questions, so maybe this is a very good time for Tino and YF to speak. Apparently, there's a Q&A chat box. Don't mind me. I'm old Gen Z. So the first question here is, what do you do when you are having issues settling in a new workplace and you have a manager that shouts for no reason? I'm just 5 months in and I'm already exhausted. I thought of work on a Sunday evening and broke down in tears because I was exhausted. Does anybody want to take that? What do you do when you are just settling into a workplace and you have a manager that shouts for no reason?
Okay, so first look inwards. That's the first thing I always say, look inwards. Most times you see we throw around loads of words around toxicity, bad culture in the organization and all that, but we don't look at ourselves. Quick experience. Somebody who said to me some years ago at a call center, my boss was XYZ. Yemi, please help me speak with my boss. And then I said, okay, go away, don't worry. I'll have a conversation. 5 weeks later, she came to meet me and said, yeah, what did you say to her? Everything has changed. She's changed 360 degrees. We have a great work relationship. I said to her, don't worry about what I said. You have found a new love relationship with the boss. Go and enjoy. Guys, guess what I said to the boss? Nothing. So who changed? She changed. So at times, we need to spend some time to have a personal conference with ourselves, first and foremost, to understand that we are not the issue. Because if your boss requires some level of excellence, and there's a gap between that expectation and what you are delivering, believe me, we can't have a free-flowing, smooth relationship. You've got to deliver. So you've got to just be sure, is it your behavior? Is it your technical capabilities? Are you the type who will not help other people? Do you put your phone on DND once it's 4:30 and then you leave the office at 5? Just look inwards, right? And then if you have done all of that and you realize that, oh no, it's not about you, it's about this environment, just try. You shouldn't bail at the first sign of adversity.
Okay.
You need to embrace adversity quotient. You need to learn. Through that experience, believe me, you are still learning. I always leave people, young people, with one thing. Still continue to give your best to that environment and still continue to take the best out of that environment. You are learning two things. You are learning who you should be and who you shouldn't be. Take the learning with you. And, hey, you're not a furniture. You can start planning your exit. Gone are the days when we say 3 years or 5 years or 12 years before you get another job. If it's not really working, having done all of that, you can start planning your exit. And I'm not saying just drop a letter of resignation on the Monday and say, oh, I can't take it anymore. No, you can plan it. And your planning may take another 1 year where you are continuing to learn and give your best to the organization. But please always first look inwards.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, YF. Tino, Erifa, do you want to add one thing or two in a minute or two? Oh, Daddy YF has said it all.
I think YF has said it all, but she came back and said everyone in the organization that she's she's looked into herself, and everyone in the organization has said they see the way she treats. So, but I will take YF if it's not going to work out. If that's then start to plan your exit. Or if your line manager as a line manager, somebody anonymously said report your line manager to his line manager. So have conversation with someone else and say this is what is going on. You would like them to intervene because have you even spoken to this person? Have you asked the person what is wrong?
Maybe
sometimes you can ask, that's why I like Gen Z. One of my employees asked me, I gave a feedback on something and he asked me, said, why did you, so I took a pause and I explained gently on Slack why I said no to that thing. So ask, don't be afraid to ask. Ask why. Is there anything I'm doing wrong? Is there something I could do better? Have a conversation. Can I have a conversation? I wanted to speak to you about certain things. Obviously, if they're really badly behaved, they would either not take that meeting or come back to that meeting with their defenses up. At least that gives you've explored all alternatives and then you can start to exit.
Yeah. Okay, Tino, please go ahead.
I'll also say that, do you want to check if that ill treatment is just to you, or are there other people in the unit or the department that also feel the same way? Because why I said that it could be internal. So if it's something that is common to everyone in that department or that unit, or even that organization, then there's a bigger problem. Like you said, plan your exit and go. That means you don't belong there. You can't thrive there. Obviously, plan the exit.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. At this point, I'll be inviting our co-host, Paige, a representative from Paige. Tosin, are you here?
Tino hasn't said anything about herself. You skip her.
Oh my God. Shey, Jesus, please have mercy on me.
Good.
Good.
I'm your advocate. Go on, Jerry.
Thank you.
Please go.
Okay, so I'm bringing on board CWG. It's an IT firm. So like one of the very few that you find, it's a Pan-African, if I must say. We're in 5 different countries. We're in Nigeria, we're in Cameroon, we're in Ghana, we're in Uganda, and then the latest of us is Dubai. So please keep following us on social media, keep seeing the good work that we're doing, and then trying to create an organization that would outlive, its generation. We're on the second generation now, very things you don't see in Nigeria. So the founder is not there, is no longer there, there's somebody. So I think we should be doing something very good, and that's why we're still very relevant in this. Thank you, YF, for that, for helping me, reminding me to promote CWG.
Yes, please. YF, please promote yourself.
YF
is YF.
This is what I do. I just enjoy mind-shifting conversations from two perspectives. One, from a purpose perspective, what I do and I don't get paid for. And then the other is from a passion perspective, what I love to do. And that's why I look forward to Mondays. I get paid for those things, but it's either purpose or passion. The platform for me is people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for sharing, what you do. Please follow HR Expo Africa, follow YF. Say, I recommend YF. I've been following YF since I started my journey, right? Follow Tino on LinkedIn and follow CWG. And of course, please follow Us Therapy. And just like I said, if you stop by their landing page, you'll fall in love. I promise you. If you don't, find me on LinkedIn.
And I'm going to do that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Tosin from Paid, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone.
Tosin, we can hear you. That's fine.
Awesome. Yeah, can I go ahead?
Yes. By all means, please go ahead.
Yes. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tosin. I work here at Paid. And I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what we do at Paid, right? I've been listening on the conversation, very insightful. Thank you, YF, thank you, Anu, Erifa, and Antino for engaging, coming here and engaging in this conversation. So we at Paid, what we do is we are a HR software company that provide HR tools for HRs to manage their employees, right? And managing your employees is not just their life cycle, right? We allow for you to manage from recruitment, sieving out, posting a job offer, sieving out potential applicants, and send them offer letters via the platform. They would accept it. Onboarding, for them to onboard themselves. On Paid as well, we give you the access to have like an employee database where you have access to all of your employees' information, right? And you have access to all of the information. You can quickly spool out reports if you want to. Down to employees' life cycle, right? Managing things like their leave requests, loan requests. We're talking about mental wellness, and there are certain things that as HR you do not want to have to go into details about. For example, somebody puts in a leave request and then you have to take your paper and pen and look for his leave balances. Is this guy eligible for a leave? And all of that. With Paid, all of those processes are eliminated. If an employee is not eligible for a leave, then he just cannot put in that request. It saves you a lot of time. Also managing payroll, right? Paid, we boast of one of the most robust payroll solution you can find out there. Every nuance that you think your business will have, in terms of disbursing payroll, if you have like some payroll that you pay employees that are not, you don't want to show on their pay slips, is it bi-weekly? Do you run your payroll bi-weekly, bi-monthly, however that might be? Paid can help to cater for all of that, as well as statutory deductions, right? And remittances. Right. So on Paid, you can automate your statutory remittance. So instead of having to go to the tax office or go to different PFAs to remit pension or tax or NHF or NSITF, you can do that directly from the platform. Managing employees' performance as well, right? You can do that from the platform. You can spool out reports, right? So we understand that the product collects a lot of data, and sometimes HR will need to you will need those information to make a report out of it, maybe to do some analysis, behavior analysis. Using Paid, you'll be able to do all of that. Maybe you want to send an announcement to employees, right? You can do that directly from Paid. So Paid is just following up on what YF said earlier, but you do need, even though you don't have substance, right? Even though you are not familiar with this, the product is intuitive enough to allow even someone who is not a HR professional. I mean, on the platform right now, we have CEOs who manage the platform by themselves. They don't have a HR person who does that, right? So the product is intuitive enough to direct you to what you need to do, how you need to do it, and then, help you to walk through all of that, all of those details. So yeah, so that's about it from us here at Paid. I don't know if anyone has a question, concerning maybe or some capabilities that you would want to know about the product. So I can just easily, buttress that before I drop off.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tosin. Two quick questions. One, do you have PMS? I'm thinking that's performance management system.
Yes, we have a performance management system, a model for that. We also have two frameworks on the system. We have Balance Scorecard and the Objective Key Result, just to cater to any any nuance that your business might be looking to, and also reviews and appraisals, right? We'll have the 360 appraisal. If you want your line manager, peer-to-peer review, self-review, and all of that, we have that on the system. You can configure it to 180 degrees, however, you might want that to work for you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Sorry. So when you think of Paid, right? Sorry, Manu.
Yeah.
You need to think about flexibility, right? What we've leveraged on is we've given you a tool that you can tweak and reconfigure to how it suits your business, right? So I'm not one of those HR tools who create a product and they try to box you into doing it our way. No, we allow you to, take the tool, configure it to how it suits your own organization, and then, it works just how you've configured it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, you've just
And it's all,
answered two questions.
Tosin, can I ask you a question?
Okay, yeah, please
Yes,
go ahead.
Is it multi-currency, the payroll?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the payroll allows to compute in any currency around the world. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that. So yes, please, there's already a link in the chat box. If you're looking to explore an HR solution end-to-end, please click on the link and they will take you through. But I see a couple questions and I am looking to wrap up by 2:30. Can someone recommend the community of HR personnel in Nigeria? YF dropped a couple earlier. You could check out HR Foundry, Cressida Academy, and my dear panelists, please, you can help me with that. Just drop in the comments section. I think another question that I would love us to answer in a minute or two before we wrap up is, what's your opinion about an introvert going into HR? This introvert is shy and lacks the confidence to hold proper conversations or public speaking. In 1 minute.
I am an introvert. Just to help that individual, I am an introvert. So many people don't believe it, right? But you see, when you go work to do, we will do it. I know, so some of us are introverts and we are thriving, right? It doesn't mean that we will not talk. Please, let's move away from the fact that it's only extroverts who like to talk in public places. Absolutely not. I have done my personality profile over the years and I have been returned as 52% introverted. That means I'm more introverted than extroverted. So anybody can do HR, whether you're an extrovert or you're an introvert. As a matter of fact, you can do sales, even if you're, or marketing, even as an introvert. What's more important is you understand yourself. Somebody spoke about self-awareness and the things that you need to do. You don't have to make noise to be an extrovert. We need to move away from that definition of being an extrovert, right? The things that you know, it's not in the quality of the things that you say, or sorry, it's not in the frequency. It's not in the frequency, but it's in the quality. That's what really matters. Okay. So please, Extroverts, introverts, you are welcome into the HR space or into any space for that matter. Don't let your personality profile be what is going to keep you from going to higher grounds. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just say quickly as well. I'm actually
Yeah.
very introverted. The best place you find me is reading a book at home. I go to parties. If you see me, I'm the life of a party. Everybody thinks I'm an extrovert, but people that do know me know that I'm very introverted. I do not go out. The pandemic was made for me, whereas I'm a man who is so restless. Oh, the only because I somewhat shuttle between the UK and Nigeria, and we were in the pandemic I was in Nigeria for the thick of the lockdown. Then I went back on a flight, so I went back to the UK in May, and they were still shut down. And my husband, for the life of himself, cannot stay at home. I want to go to the shops. I want to do this. I will stay. I can stay at home for a week without going out, without speaking to anyone. I'm so introverted. It's like, it's so unreal. But when I go out, I'm the life of the party. I'm speaking. Yeah, I've been speaking all day. You wouldn't even know, but I'm so introverted. I don't really want to be with people. I don't really want to see people. So it's your knowledge, is knowing when you have to do something. If you have to do, I always say to people, it's work, And unfortunately for me, work doesn't even stop because I'm a business owner. So I'm constantly working around the clock, but I'm also introverted. I do sales call, I jump on a call, I do discovery calls with people, do sales, but I'm so introverted, it's unreal. So yes, you can't be in HR as an introvert.
Thank you. And I know wanted to say something. Yes, please.
So I actually agree with me when he says that introverted people talk. And there's a difference between introversion and shyness. Shyness has to do with like this hyper consciousness of social perception, and introversion is like a personality trait that has to do with like where you get your energy. Extroverted people derive energy from talking and engaging and like that social exchange, while introverted people like they disperse their energy by doing that, and then they get charged in like their own spaces or other like smaller spaces. I'm not a shy person, and I think like Yomi and Erifa are also not shy. But when it comes to like introversion within the workplace, whether it's as a HR professional and so on, you can be very deliberate about how you direct your energy. You can be very deliberate about how you spend it, because when you think about it in terms of like say currency, or when you're charging your batteries, you know that I have a meeting at this time, and I need to prepare. And then in between that hour, you're going to charge and get back to it. Now, if you're both shy and you're introverted, the work with the shyness is to understand like where the fear of that social perception is coming from, and understand like what people think about you is not within your control. You have a clear idea of your values, of your work system, of your competency, and so on. And when you're confident with that, you can lead within the workspace, you can do your work well, and you can keep improving on that so that you be very confident with your work and know that like whatever they say, I own my shit, forgive the French, right? So introversion and shyness is very different. And while you can own your introversion and work within that as a strength, because it is a strength, the shyness on the other hand, you can just like work on that and say like, what other people think is not within my control. What I think and what I do and how I prepare and how I show up at work is what is within my control. So I focus on that and show up as my best self at work and kill it as a HR person.
One word for introverts and those who may be shy. In the place of work, if you want to go very far, don't wink in the dark. Nobody will see you.
That's a metaphor, by the way. just
put yourself on the spot.
Yes, put yourself out there. And
Put yourself on the spot.
Yeah, right. It might be, taking up a 2 minutes presentation,
Yeah.
knowledge sharing session. It might be
And then
doing research work. Yeah, please go ahead,
this thing that we say that practice makes improvement, as you do it often, like Anu said, you get used to it, you get better at it, and then you can be whatever you want to be. So
Okay, and also I'll just add one thing. We all have imposter syndromes. No matter how long you've taken to the stage, no matter how long you speak at event, that imposter syndrome comes onto you. So don't ever think that oh, it's me. We all have it. I've spoken to great leaders, great speakers, great keynote speakers, and they all have this. It's a syndrome, biggest founders, tech, international, and they'll tell you we all have those imposter syndrome, and it will come. is we are humans. The psychologist will tell you it will come, but you as I said, put yourself on the spot. You're going to get through it. You can do it. Some people do mental. They say do a quick mental exercise. Prep yourself up. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Do different things to just his work. You got to get it done, and you have to get it done.
Thank you very much. I mean,
My very good friend has just said so. Basically, everybody.
I saw that Fumi Bucknor.
Her name, no, she used to be HR madam, but I now call her madam.
Oh, mommy, mommy,
Shout out to Fumi Bucknor. She said so.
Shout out to
she
you.
will come back and cause chaos. We are not all introverts. Fumi.
Hi, Fumi Bucknor. Super delighted to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Still, guys, I think that it's been a very enriching 90 minutes of, exciting, didactic conversations. And I think that I personally have learned a lot, and I'm sure that we all have. A huge shout out to Paid again and to HR Expo Africa for hosting us, and just a huge shout out to all our panelists who have shared amazing, very, very helpful nuggets. If you want to, I was going to say that we should share, like our panelists should share our details, but I see that some of us have done that already. Follow Us Therapy. They've shared their website. YF is YF. Yemi Fashion everywhere. Tino and Erifa, I don't know if you want to share your LinkedIn. Yeah, super delighted to be doing this. If you want to know more about Paid, you can stay back after this session. But, feel free to share what you learned, share on LinkedIn, share on Twitter, tag Paid, tag the panelists. I'm very sure if you tag YF, he's going to reply you. That's one thing about YF. Everybody that tags YF gets replied. I'm just giving you your flowers when you're here, sir. I think it's super inspiring. So, share a few things you learned, give shout out to Paid, to the panelists, and it's been super delightful being your host. Thank you very much for having me. Till the next time we see virtually or physically, signing off.
Well done, Faith.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you, Brian.
Nice meeting you.
Anu, nice meeting you.
And,
See
you again. Bye.
Erica, I'll definitely be reaching out to you. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
A lot to do. I'm sure we'll have a lot to do. Bye.
Yeah, bye.